Okay, so I found this little thing at the Dollar Tree. It's just this little stand-up, light-up thing, and they have these little, battery protectors in them. So I went through and made sure I got ones that had that still intact. But it's just a little tabletop decor, and these two are little lights, and then it has the little battery pack back here. So you can see they just light up like that. So I went ahead and picked these up because all the lights are already all wired up and ready to go, and it has this nice little battery compartment with an on-off switch. So it's like, hey, that might be cool, and some resin or something. And so I had this idea for using the back side of these celestial tray molds and to put UV resin in here and just make a thin shell of UV resin to create, hard case, and then just use the other one for the other side. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. So I'm going to just go ahead and take care of this. So, and I found the easiest way to get these out of here. First, you got to pull, kind of pry up on this thing. Just gently. You could use a screwdriver or something if you had a screwdriver. Just pop that off. It's hot glued in, so it just really just comes right out of there. And then these are really kind of glued in there, so you kind of have to pry them loose. Just until they're loose enough from the board. And then take a pair of these clipper snippers and just pop that edge off, and then those come just right out. They'll just come right on out of there, and super easy, just something I picked up to try. And then I'm planning on using this board to cut out some extra pins for my Glowforge. So just the work of a few seconds, and that's out of there and ready to use. You can clean this up if you want. It's just got some hot glue and wood stuck to it, so pretty simple. And then you've got a little 2-light LED light for your resin project. Okay, so I'm taking my UV resin and I'm just putting in a little bit at a time, working on one point of the star at a time, and using my little silicone brush to kind of brush it up on the sides. And then before it gets a chance to run back down, you flash cure it. Then you keep going around to the next part and just keep doing that, adding just a little bit of resin at a time, and then quickly flash cure it so it can't go anywhere. And just keep doing that, keep building up as you go along, and before you know it, you have a fairly thin, nice, sturdy shell to come out of that mold. Now, the molds that, these celestial molds, they are linked in my resin links in the description box below, but they come two to a package, so that's kind of nice. One side I did a solid coat throughout the whole star, and then the other one I did, I traced the battery compartment with a permanent marker, and then I built up the resin around that circle so that I would have a hollow space in one side of the star to place the battery compartment in and to put the lights inside the hollow star. So here you can see I'm just tracing around that battery pack just so I have a guideline of where I need to put my resin and where I don't. You can just barely see it. And then you build up the edges and leave that center part hollow. So you've got both sides there, and you have two sides of a star. And you just very gently pull these out because they are pretty thin. And once you combine them together, they become a little bit stronger. And you can always keep adding UV resin and making more layers and more layers to make it thicker if you want it more sturdy. So then lining them up, placing them together. Torch. A little more of this UV resin. A little silicone nail thing. Okay, I'm going to show you a little trick here. So if you're working on something with UV resin and you're wanting to maybe fill in a hole, but say on something that's hollow and you've got this, you can kind of see there's a hole here and there's a hole here. And there's nothing behind it to hold the resin, but you want to fill in that hole. And there's not really a great way to do that. So you just take you a piece of clear tape. This is some very thin, just clear tape here. Take a little bit of this UV resin, and I'm going to put it right on the tape. Kind of make a little area here. Okay. I'm going to take your find your hole again. It's here somewhere. Okay, well here's another one. Here's another one. You can see this area is got nothing in it. So I'm going to take this little piece of tape that I've got this UV resin on, and I'm just going to lay it right there. I'm not going to push very hard, just making sure the edges have touched, and then you're going to cure it while it's sitting there. Okay. And then you're just going to peel that tape away, and your area should be filled in. So it's almost filled in. It filled in most of it. I just got one little spot. I don't think I had enough UV resin on my tape. But we'll grab a new piece and repeat the process. Yeah, I've got a little bit more on there. Down right there. Oop. Help if you guys could see what I'm doing, yeah? Okay. I want to make sure my tape is flat because I don't want a big ridge. And then I'll just cure it. Then you peel your tape off. And even though this does have a little bit of a ridge, you can see the hole is completely filled in. It needs to be cured more. That's just flash cured. But any spots you have like that, you can go in and do that with. It's just a little trick. This is great for those little tiny cups and bottles and things. You can get those little molds to make like a hollow cup or glass or something, and then a lot of times those are kind of tricky to get to work and you'll end up with holes on it or something. This is a good technique to try that out and fix those little holes pretty easily. I'm just taking this little mold I got off of AliExpress, and it has all these different shapes for creating hangers for your projects. So I'm just filling one of these up with some UV resin and to create a little hanger for the star. So here I'm just doing a final clear coat for the top of the star, just taking care of any imperfections in the surface and making a nice even clear coat for the top. Okay, got my full star going on here, finished that up, and the inside, if you've worked with UV resin, you know that sometimes one side can remain tacky before it's fully cured. Just the tiniest bit of residue kind of on it, and so it's a great way to stick in some glitter, because the glitter will stick to that resin, and then after it's done, after you coat it, then you can stick it in the UV light and do a final cure, and it should be hardened up and not sticky anymore. So I don't want glitter on the outside, I just wanted it on the inside, so I'm adding the chunky glitter and then the really fine glitter to fill in any spaces in between. Now I'm preparing the light, and I'm wrapping the excess wires in, and getting those lights ready to just pop in there. And then I'll take some super glue, and I did have to build up a little spot here on the side that was kind of hollow with the UV resin, but then after that I took some super glue and glued that back in there. So taking that star and the little piece that we just made, I just added a little bit of UV resin to weld those two pieces together, and then cured it with a light, flash cured it. And after it's done flash curing, we're just going to throw it into the UV lamp to give it a good final hard cure. So the last thing I got to do is take some wire and use a pair of jewelry pliers to kind of bend that wire into a little hook shape. This makes this great for, you could hang it on a Christmas tree, obviously, but you could also hang it on a wall or in a window or something and use it as a little night light or lamp or something. I really love how it turned out. It just really sparkles in person. It doesn't really catch it on video, but it's really sparkly and pretty. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!